Welcome to Billionaire Romance Audiobooks. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. It helps more than you know and is the best way to stay up to date on our latest releases. When you subscribe, you'll also get notified when we release new videos. We also love hearing from our listeners. If you have any suggestions for future audiobooks, please feel free to leave a comment below. Or if you want to say hi, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great day.
Her Grumpy Boss. A holiday romance short story. An extra short from the Sold to the Boss audiobook. By Michelle Love. Audio copyright 2023, BFA Publishing. Note: we edited this romance audiobook to comply with the YouTube content guidelines. If you want to listen to the full-length, non-edited version, you can grab a copy from Google Play Books or Kobo.
Blurb.
One attractive woman, one funhouse, one hell of a Halloween night. All the young studs were after her, but I got her. Her voluptuous body was calling my name, so I had to do it. I had to take her off somewhere where no one knew either of us. Fulfilling a fantasy she invoked within me. Our bodies finally got all they'd craved, but what would it cost us? Our lives.
Jason.
Candy apple in one hand, hers in the other, I make my way down the midway. Dodging the constant calls of the carnies to come play their games, I have one place in mind, and will stop at nothing to get her where I want her. The fantasy has been running through my mind all day long. Despite the fierce custody battle I had to fight for my client in court today, it always lurked in the back of my mind, getting her to the funhouse. Penny is a young intern who was sent to work in my law office a few weeks ago. Her lush body has been tempting me since she first walked through my door. Not that she was playing hard to get, she really was hard to get. I sat back quietly and watched the other interns take their stabs at her. She never gave any of those guys the time of day. One by one, I watched them flirt with her, try to touch her. And one by one, I watched her shut them all down. So I thought it was my turn, and boy was I pleased by her reaction when I asked her if she could see herself face down on my desk. Biting her lower lip as her cheeks went pink, she gave me a slow nod as her hands moved over her round hips. I didn't want that particular act. I wanted something better than the old standby office romp. So I told her she'd have to wait for when I wanted her. A thing she complied with, although I saw the desire in her dark eyes. Slipping our tickets to the man outside the funhouse, I tugged Penny inside, pulling her close to me. Her dark hair is loose, instead of in the tight little bun she keeps it in at work. It hangs in a silky sheet to her waist. A waist that's not tiny but thick. Everything about Penny is thick, including her Cuban accent. Voluptuous double Ds and some thick thighs make her middle look thinner than it is though. We have to keep this on the down low while she's interning at the office. It's frowned upon for the lawyers in our practice to mess with the secretaries and interns. But when you have one this tasty, well, you take chances you might not normally take. And the fact she's not easy and freaky just makes it that much better. Making our way through the funhouse, I have a certain place I want to take her, a private place amongst the mirrors where no one can see us. But we'll be able to see everyone who comes through. My little obsession is doing it in public places without others catching me. That, and sleeping with women no one suspects me of sleeping with. Penny isn't the type of girl anyone I know or work with would imagine I'd have a thing to do with. She's not the arm candy I'm usually seen with. And she's quite a bit younger than is seen as respectable. Barely 19 and barely legal. Being in my early 30s makes me look like I might be her older uncle or something. So this fantasy I've had since I first laid eyes on her, it has to be played out carefully. We cannot get caught. I stop us in front of one of the mirrors. We both look unbelievably tall and skinny. She sighs as she looks at her thin body in the mirror. If only I really were this skinny. I shake my head. You're perfect just the way you are. Don't try to be something you're not. You don't need to be anything but exactly what you are. Thick and delicious. Her smile is all I need, knowing I made her feel a bit better about herself. The girl really does have it all going for her. And with time and maturity, she'll come to realize she's got a lot to offer the right man someday. I'm not the right man for anything serious. I am the right man to teach her all about love, though, and boost her self-esteem in the process. I came to this carnival last year, bringing my young niece and nephew to it. It was then that I realized this perfect little hiding place. My nephew is a real handful with ADHD, and he managed to get his little butt lost for a little while in this funhouse. When I finally found him, he was behind the mirrors, laughing because he could see us all looking for him, but we couldn't see him at all, even though he was right there. It's a tight squeeze for Penny as I pull her between two of the mirrors, but I get her back here, and she looks around, amazed by the difference. It's kind of creepy back here, Jason. The sound of the carnival music drifts in and out, wafting through all the things that make up the funhouse. And the sound of people laughing and screaming just makes it that much creepier. A young couple in their early teens comes through, and we watch them as they look into the mirrors, laughing and pointing at each other's reflections. Oh my gosh, Sandy. You look just like your fat mother in that one. F you, Troy. The girl smacks her boyfriend in the back of his head. He laughs and nods. Yeah, I deserve that. Come on. Handing Penny the candy apple, I run my hands around her waist, pushing her shirt up so I can feel the actual rolls of flesh that form 3 rings around her waist. Lick that, I whisper. Plying the folds apart, I push my fingers into the deep recesses and move them back and forth. More people come through as I look at her body while I kiss her neck and she eats the apple. My lips brush just behind her ear as I whisper, "Do you want me to take you now?" I move my hands into the elastic waistband of her slacks. I have been waiting for quite some time for you to do just that, you know. You've made me wait for a solid week since you asked me about wanting to be face down on your desk. And that is what we're here for. She licks the shiny red surface of the apple. You do have that candy bar in your pocket, right? I have the candy bar, don't worry. Good. If anyone sees us, we're headed straight for jail, and my career as a lawyer will be over in a flash of newspaper headlines. But still, I make her mine.
Penny.
I've lusted after Jason since the first day I went to work in his office. His muscular body was evident, even underneath his expensive suits. I could tell he had lots of muscles. To be honest, I thought he'd probably have a small one. I suspect he uses steroids to get all the muscles he has, and that's one of the side effects of using them. But maybe he just works really hard to have that perfect body. I'm not into exercising. I actually hate it with a passion. I'm all about being comfortable, and I love food. If I had to exercise to burn all the calories I intake on a daily basis, I'd never get to stop to actually eat anything. 3 teen boys come through the funhouse, looking into the mirrors and laughing. I look right at them, but they can't see me at all. I'm used to being invisible to most people. Being heavy all my life, I was ridiculed when I was younger for my weight. I learned to fade into the background to avoid all that. Getting the internship at Jason's law office was like a whole new world for me. I had to dress differently when I went to work there. I had to wear a skirt and a button-down shirt and heels. My personal attire is far from that. I like wearing elastic-waisted slacks and lightweight shirts. And I never wear heels. Mostly I wear slip-on sandals even in the cold of winter. My transformation into the proper legal aid had me getting the men's attention, both in the office and out of it. It wasn't a thing I was used to, and I had a hard time dealing with how many men were flirting with me and trying to touch my body as if it was a thing they craved. I didn't want any of those young guys. My eyes were set on the older man who sat behind the huge oak desk, looking regal and attractive as hell. My eyes were on Jason right from the start. Oh, I had no idea I could actually get him. Even though I know I don't actually have him now. I know we will never be a real thing. He can't, and neither can I. I can't imagine bringing home a 30-something man and expecting my grandma and grandpa to be cool with that. They wouldn't be down with it at all. Jason Stone is out of my league anyway. But I can let him take me to his bed. I can do that. My heart revs up with anticipation. Is he going to finally kiss me? His face moves in closer and closer, then his lips are on my neck, and he kisses me all the way down as he gets on his knees in front of me. His blue eyes are piercing. The kind that look right through you, finding all the flaws and any lies that might be hiding inside of a person. The first time he looked at me, I felt a jolt of electricity move right through me. He had me with that first look. I'd have given in to him the very first day, but he didn't come on to me until after a few weeks of me working there. I dreamt of the man every time my eyes closed. How he'd feel when he took me. How he'd taste when we kissed. And now my dream is coming true. And I'm finding out that his fantasy is a thing I didn't know I'd like as much as I do. Some man's voice comes from right behind me. Would you look at that? Oh, that's ugly, Stan. Yuck. Keep moving, a woman says. I almost wonder if they can see us. Then I hear the man say, you'd look cute, chunky Beth. You should eat more. I could be married to a voluptuous woman if you'd just eat more. Who wants a fat wife? She asks as their voices trail off and they walk on by. Her question haunts me. Yeah, who does want a fat wife? Jason moves, kissing his way up my body, and then his lips finally touch mine. I put my arms around his neck, careful not to let the sticky candy touch his clothing or hair. Kissing him back, I find it's even better than how I imagined it would be. His hands run up into my hair, and he takes it in his hands and pulls my head back. Looking at me with those icy blue eyes, he whispers, "You're beautiful." Am I? Am I really beautiful? I'm overweight and haven't developed much of a personality, as I've tried so hard to be invisible. I don't know why I decided to become a legal aid. It was my mother's lifelong dream, and somehow it became what I was going to be. Am I really beautiful? Or are you just saying that? With a frown, he answers me. You really are beautiful. The way he's looking at me makes me almost believe him. I use my feet to pull my pants all the way, and move one of my legs up his, opening my body up to him. Then take me the way I've dreamt of. Finally. If someone catches us, I know the man will be ruined. I put the apple between my teeth and bite it, holding it there to stop the sounds I want to make so badly. He told me about his fantasy yesterday while I was in his office. When I told him I was game to try it, the smile he gave me sent chills through me. We both cling to one another as our bodies go weak. I clench my teeth so hard I bite through the apple, and it falls to the floor behind him. Chewing up the sweet fruit, I swallow it, then try to catch my breath. Before I try to squish my body back between the mirrors, his hand on my arm stops me. Wait. Looking back at him, I think he's about to say something nice to me, and I don't want some crap words to come out of his mouth. Don't make me any false promises, Jason. He shakes his head and puts his finger to his lips. Pulling me back with him, he leans up against the very back of the area, and we can see through a small crack. There's a man back there, somewhere behind all the props. And he's got his hands around a woman's throat. She's struggling and trying to reach a knife the man is wearing on his side. Is he killing her? I have to ask because they might be playing out some weird fetish themselves. I think so. He leans in closer, putting his eye right up to the small opening, then he jerks back and grabs my hand. Damn. He saw me. Before he's able to pull me through the opening between the mirrors, the wall that was separating us from them is pushed down. I see it all then. The woman, dead on the floor, blood pooling around her head where he undoubtedly cut her throat. And now he's got his knife ready to take us out too. It's the man Jason gave the tickets to. I recognize him now. You. His knife swipes through the air just as Jason yanks me through the mirrors and we start running. The only way out is through the rest of the maze that is the funhouse. It doesn't seem so fun anymore.
Jason.
The floor is wavy, and running over it proves nearly impossible. Dragging Penny along isn't easy, as she keeps tripping and nearly falling down, making me stop and catch her way too often. The sound of glass breaking sends a chill down my spine, as I know that's the killer breaking through the mirrors, instead of taking the time to climb out from between them carefully. Ha ha ha. I'm coming to get you, the man shouts out at us. You're mine now. You filthy fornicators. Oh gosh, Jason. Penny shouts as she truly falls this time, and I'm too late to catch her. Her hand slips out of mine, and she looks as if she's going to just give up and lie there. Go without me. I'm only slowing you down. Grabbing her from underneath each arm, I heave her up. On your feet and run. You're not giving up. I take off again, trying to search the next area we're coming into. It's dark, smells musty, and there are scary props that I know are about to pop out at us. Don't freak out, Penny. A vampire, complete with bloody teeth, pops out first and sends Penny into a shrieking panic. Gosh. Oh shit. Pulling her along as she tries to turn back, I find it insane that I have to remind her exactly what's waiting for us back that way. There's a man who wants us dead back there. Come on. A bat flies over our heads, and she lets my hand go to swat at it. Shit. It's real. It's not real, I tell her as I grab her hand again. Just duck. We keep going, and something like a Bigfoot steps out of the shadows with a loud growl. It's him. Penny cries out. No, it's just a prop. I tug her as she's frozen in place. We have to get out of here, Penny. Ignore all this shit. Just as we leave that area, something hairy runs against the back of my neck, and it freaks me out that he's caught up to us. I find myself screaming, "Get away from me." Penny laughs a little. It's a fake hairy arm, Jason. That's all. The next thing we come into is a spinning tunnel, and I know Penny's going to have a hell of a time with this thing. Boo. First step and flat on her back. Shit. I'm never going to get across this thing. Just run, leave me. Scooping her up, I toss her over my shoulder and carry her fireman style the rest of the way through the slow spinning tunnel. I've got you. Seems you do, she mumbles with her faces against my back. Once out of there, we're on to the next fun thing, which isn't proving to be fun at all, and a voice from behind us calls out, "I'm coming to get you." You're dead now. Not yet, we aren't. I put Penny down and take her hand as I size up what we're up against now. Okay. You go first. It's a series of boxes that start big, but get smaller and smaller. You have to crawl on your hands and knees. And I'm not real sure that Penny is okay with cramped spaces. I'll get stuck, she whines. I can't do it. I can't go in there. You have to. The alternative isn't a thing you want to deal with. Just go. I'll be behind you and push you through anything you might get stuck in. But I don't think you'll get stuck. I mean, I saw lots of people with large bodies go through this thing. If they made it, so can you. I push her gently but firmly to her knees and point straight ahead. Get going. The man calls out, "I'll be seeing your blood on the blade of my knife soon, you filthy fornicators." That spurs her on, and she starts crawling. It's so dark in here. Do you think there are spiders? I hope not. I get on my hands and knees and follow her. The box is big enough it doesn't bother me, but I know it does get tight at the end. Gosh, I hope she doesn't get stuck. I've got you now, you hiding humpers. An evil laugh follows his words, and I find Penny is moving faster. Thank God. Ah. Shit, she screams and stops. Keep going, Penny. Stop freaking out. I push her butt to keep her moving. Stop. Jason, there's something at the end. There are feet and they're just staying there. He's on the other end. Back up. I can't see around her, but I don't think he could have passed us up and gotten down there before we did. Or could he have? His voice comes from behind me. Trapped, aren't you? He's back here. Whoever is up there, we can deal with. Keep going, Penny. I push her again and she goes, albeit hesitantly. You mean I'll have to deal with whoever is up there? I am the first in line, you know. If I could go around you and get in front, I would. I'll be right behind you. You won't have to deal with them long at all. We keep moving, and I find she's out and screaming her head off. One moment she's there, and then she's not. I climb out, finding I'm all alone just outside the funhouse. Penny! A muffled response sends me off to the right. Someone caught her and pulled her back into the funhouse, but through the back. I find the loose panel and slip in. I'm back behind the props, and have to flatten my body up against the wall to move at all. Whoever has Penny won't be able to get her moving nearly as fast as I can move. Penny! Jason, comes her scream. She has me. She. I hear the sound of the metal panel as it slaps closed again, and then the man who's stalking us says, "Back for more, I see. You've lost your booty call. Do you miss her?" Shut up. I scream as I'm growing tired of this game of cat and mouse. Maybe it's time to face this lunatic and deal with him. I know how to fight. I was in boxing for a year in college. I can knock the knife out of his hand and beat the freak up. Jason, hurry. She's going to kill me. Penny screams, and my plan is quickly put away. I have to get to her. Moving forward, I strain to see anything ahead of me, and can only see the tight space between the thin walls of the props and the trailer they're built in. Then I catch a glimpse of her dark hair, and reach out, almost touching it before she's jerked away again. The sounds of feet running on a metal floor meet my ears, but the cramped area finally opens up and I see Penny. Some woman is on the ground, knocked out. Penny runs to me, wrapping her arms around me. I hit her. We're free now. Out in the open. But people are gathering to look at the woman Penny hit. Run. I take her hand and pull her along as I run for the parking lot. The way that looked back there might have police coming to see what happened, and that means there might be a trip down to the station for Penny. I just don't need that. Stop them. I hear the deranged killer shout. Then there's the pounding of feet as a bunch of people take off after us. This is the craziest shit I've ever been a part of, Jason, Penny shouts as we turn up the speed. I dig into my pocket for my car keys to be ready to get in it and get out of this crazy place. We're getting closer to the parking lot, and I can nearly smell freedom in the air. Almost there, baby. Don't let them get away, the man yells. I hit the button on the fob to start the car remotely. I slide over the hood to get to the driver's side and hit the unlock button. Get in. Penny gets in, and so do I. 3 men jump onto the hood of my car, and I throw it into reverse, speeding backward, then stomping on the brake. 1 falls off, but 2 remain. Both are clutching the edge of the hood, near the windshield wipers, so I press the button that sends water out and the wipers going as I drive in a circle to spin them off. Oh shit, Jason. Penny shouts as she tries to put her seatbelt on. I reverse the spin, and the other 2 finally fall off. Gunning it, I speed out of the parking lot. In the dust I've left behind me, I see the crazy man running out of it, waving his knife in the air. He lost his prey this time. Penny's face is bright red as she tries to catch her breath, then reaches over to turn the air conditioner all the way up. Damn, Jason. That was intense. I turn onto the main road and turn on my headlights as I race down the road to get as far away from that damn carnival as I can. Should we go to the police? She asks as she fans herself. And tell them what, Penny? I shake my head. We'll have to come clean about what we were doing in there if we do that. But that woman, she argues. We can't help her now. Turning a corner, I find the full moon is right there, hanging like a giant orange ball in the dark sky. Penny shivers and runs her hands up and down her arms. I totally forgot what tonight is. It used to be one of my favorite holidays. I used to love to sit and watch scary movies with my mom. Before she died, that is. With a smile, I pull to the side of the road and stop. She looks at me with wide eyes as I pull her to me and kiss her sweet lips. I overheard you telling one of our coworkers about that very subject. So I thought I'd make our first time very memorable. Happy Halloween, baby. The look in her eyes tells me she's unsure if that was all real or not. That's the thing about scary Halloween stories, one never knows. Ha ha ha.
The end. This has been an extra short story from Sold to the Boss by Michelle Love.
Start listening to Sold to the Boss now. Thank you for listening to this audiobook. We hope you have enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel.